talk about ePortfolio. So first I'm going to go over our agenda. For treasurer update, we have $785 in our account. We have a deposit that we'll get to make next week for it. So for all of you guys who sold pizzas, we sold around $1,400 worth of pizzas. Yay! Everybody in here sold pizzas. Good job, guys. For those of you online too, great work. So we'll get about $700 back from that, and so that's going to essentially double our account balance, which is really fantastic. Then we also have the Pure Vita bracelets going on. So if you guys want some or you want to sell some, you can see me, you can see Kirsten. I'm in the classroom 870 on the Youngwood campus. We had SGA report out yesterday. I'll just briefly go over that. What we talked about is the college will be implementing a no tobacco policy in August of this year. So when we come back in the fall, it will be no tobacco at all on campus. We're going to have advertising and information about that process later this spring and then through the summer, so it doesn't catch folks off guard when they come back in the fall. And the reasons that we're doing that is, one, for health concerns for people, so there's going to be cessation information and education available if folks want to stop using tobacco. But also there have been incidents and concerns from facilities where there's been damage to facilities. Facilities also has to clean up the tobacco byproducts, cigarette butts, snuff, that kind of stuff. So it was more than just a personal choice decision. There were some other factors. So it costs the college, which then ultimately comes back to you guys as students, because it increases your fees and tuition when we have to have increased hours for maintenance and that type of thing. Upcoming events. We have the PSEA Student Conference in Erie on April 2nd to 4th, which is super cool. The officers are all going to go to that, so it's Pennsylvania State Educator Association. We learned about it at last club meeting, so if you guys want to click into the content area for that in our Google Drive, there's lots of info and a video about that. It is open to other students, so I'll post info about that next week. If you want to go as an individual student, what you would do is you pay up front for the cost. It's $85 to register. We will provide housing for about up to 6 people, I think. And then you'll pay for your gas. And I do have some space in my car, so we'll get sign-ups out for that for folks who want to go. And then the college will reimburse you when you return. So you'll get the money back, but you have to pay for it up front. Trying Together dinner is April 30th in Pittsburgh at Heinz Field. Woo, woo. I think most of you guys in here are going. Are you coming, Celeste?
I'm not so sure yet, but I do want to come to at least one of these events.
Well, and that's, so if you can't make it to the Pittsburgh one, on April 15th, we're having the the student affiliate dinner at Seton Hill. So it's a really nice one to go to also, and it is essentially same kind of celebration that the Trying Together dinner is in Pittsburgh, but it's just local. So it's our 5 local colleges, us, Carlo at Greensburg, Pitt at Greensburg, Seton Hill, and St. Vincent. And it is for you guys as early childhood educators. So it's to celebrate you guys as students. So next week I'll be putting the sign up out for that. So it's more local. So if you can't make it to the other ones, maybe you can come to that. We would love to have you. We would love to have all of you online too, so hopefully you guys can come with us. Open floor. Do you guys have any questions or ideas, anything you guys want to talk about before we get into the content for the ePortfolio? Easy enough, great. So now we're going to go to the ePortfolio. Guys, for you who are online and for you guys in Deborah, this is where you will be able to get the information. In the ECE D2L course, I made an area, and I will show it to you guys right now. One second. In the content on the left, there is now an ECE Club Google Drive folder. You can click into that, and it will bring you to our folder that has all of the, I know that this is hard to read, but you guys know where to go. All of our topics from club from this semester. So we have family diversity, the ePortfolio we're talking about today, PSEA from last week, talking to young children about difficult topics, and then I'll put Allie will make a Google sheet in here. Why don't you do that while we're talking to Allie? And I will put the link to our YouTube page in here also, so then once you get in here, you can watch any of the videos that you want to watch from the club meetings. So today we're going into Practicum ePortfolio. So as we get started, where you guys can find the most important document that I'm going to talk about today is on the ECE program webpage. So Jali, if you want to go there, you can find it, navigate to the Practicum area. And the first document you're going to see there under ePortfolio construction is a large table. It looks complex, but I'm going to explain it to you. So this table has all 6 of the NACCE professional development standards. That is what you guys put in your heading for your assignments and activities for all of your ECE classes. It has each key standard, or each standard, so this is standard 1 on the first page, promoting child development and learning. Then you guys know that each standard has between 3 to 5 key elements. So each of the key elements is listed here, and then each of the key elements is represented in this table. So the first column relists the key elements, so this one is knowing and understanding young children's characteristics and needs. Then the next column is possible work artifacts. So what you guys will do when you build your ePortfolio is you will use this table. It's available on the ECE website now, so you guys can download it, print it, save it, whatever, to be thinking about things. And when we say artifacts, it just means assignments, discussion boards, if you're in online classes. It can be assignments from other classes. So I had a student this semester use a speech that he wrote for speech because he wrote it about an early childhood topic. So if it is related to early childhood or education from a different class, bring it in. Really what we want to show is your competency in our field. So possible artifacts that you could put into your ePortfolio for key element 1A is an observation of a child that focuses on 1 or more areas of development. You guys have done a ton of those, right? So any of your observations from infant and toddler, early childhood, anything that you're looking at for children's learning, you could use for this work artifact. And so the possible artifact, you can also do an article review on a current research topic in early childhood. So this list of possible artifacts is to give you ideas for what you can do. It is not it has to be one of these things, right? So as long as whatever the artifact is addresses the standard, it shows that you know about and understand young children's characteristics and needs, it fits. Does that make sense? And then over here's the rubric that you are evaluated by when you actually complete your ePortfolio. So there's a description for exceeds expectations, meets expectations, and does not meet expectations. And so you can read these, especially the exceeds expectations, to get a better idea of like, all right, maybe I have 5 artifacts that fit with this key element. I'm going to read exceeds expectations, and that's going to help me pick out which one may be the best one for that. Does that make sense? And then you do that for all 22. So there are 22 work artifacts that you need to include. And so it draws from your entire program, which is really cool. And it's such a fantastic project. I love it because you guys get to really see all of the work that you have done. And I get to see it too. It's really validating for me to see this is a nice view of the program, right? And we really are covering all of the things that you guys need to cover. So this document comes from the state, so this is required by the Department of Education. And so what we have done in the program is design all of your assignments so that they meet all of these possible artifacts. So you are, as long as you've completed even just the bulk of your assignments from your classes, you are assured that you will have plenty of artifacts to choose from for this. Do you guys have any questions about this before we get started? So guys, online, this is where you can find it. It's on the ECE program website. Get it, familiarize yourself with it, use it, and that's why using the key elements in your headings for your assignments is so important, because then when you get to practicum, you just need to look for which ones are in there, and it's easy to find. And as you guys go through, one student yesterday suggested, this was a really nice suggestion, she saved this, and then what she did as she went through her classes is she went through this, and each time she did an assignment from that, she crossed it off. So then when she did new assignments, she would come back to this and say, okay, I already have one for 1A, does this fit with 1C? Yes, I'm going to put this in for 1C. So she kept track on this of which one she had and didn't have. So then, since you have so many observations, you might just think, all right, 1A, 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 1A. But if you keep track of them on here, you'll say, all right, I already have some for that. Let's see where this fits differently. Then you're even more ahead of the game when you get to practicum. So the only thing you guys need to be doing before you get to practicum to prepare for it is to make sure you put the key element of the standard in your headers for your assignments. And where should you back your work up?
On the cloud.
On the cloud, yay! A flash drive is good, but it should not be your primary backup. A hard drive is not good. It should not be your primary backup. Coffee gets spilled on things, things get rained on, things get crushed and lost. So upload it to the cloud. You guys have unlimited storage with your Gmail accounts here at the college to save stuff. So you use whatever cloud service works best.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I wanted to create a new document for my portfolio and it hasn't been something that I've done in school, am I allowed to do that? It's not been graded or...
No, I want it to be something graded.
Okay,
So
I
can you
figured.
make your own artifacts? Is
Yeah,
that what you're saying?
yeah.
No, because that's essentially from the state. Like, they want to show your work from the program,
Okay.
and that means the program's meeting these standards. But you can include additional things in your
Okay.
portfolio. So, like, if you want to write an extra reflective essay, you can just make an extra page in your portfolio and say reflective essay or whatever, or additional documents. Yes,
Yeah.
Celeste?
Can what you add to the portfolio, could it be from classes that might be outside of the education degree?
Yes.
I'm going to be working with special needs children, so I'm taking on psychology as well, a few psychology
Yeah.
classes. So could some psychology classes works from those?
Yes.
be included as well?
For sure. So especially if you, how about when people have questions, let's turn it to them, and that'll probably give us better sound too. Do you guys care if you're recorded? We won't make you say, oh, can we say hi, Celeste? Will you say hi to the crowd? Take it. Say hi. Yeah, absolutely, Celeste. That's really good, especially if you do something like you write about the exceptionality that you're working with for a psychology paper. Yes. And there are lots of different places in here where artifacts like that would fit. So if you wrote specifically about like the child that you were working with for a psych paper, that could be considered a case study. So that would actually fit with 1A because you're learning about their needs and development. So that would be a perfect thing to fit here. So definitely bring those in. Yeah. Good. Jelly?
Yeah, because my question is like right now
Say it again for me.
Right now, we are the registered student WCTC.
Mhm.
Like you mean see all the document in the cloud. Like one day we are not the student of here
Mhm.
because now I think the name is the cloud name is schools. But
Yes.
when we can't use the access, how could we?
So you can, whatever cloud you save it on, that's a great question. You can save it on a personal cloud. So like if you have a Gmail account, it should probably have unlimited storage that's personal. You can save it on there. I have all of mine saved on a personal Dropbox account. So any cloud service that you use, and it can be on personal accounts. And when you guys build this, the site that I'm going to show you, it's in Google Sites. And I do allow you to use a personal Gmail account for that because you will lose access to your college email and account, like you're saying, 6 months after you graduate. So I do allow you to build it on a personal site. And what's nice about Google Sites now is that you can copy across emails. So maybe you forget to set it up in a personal site and you set it up with your school one, you can actually give access to your personal email from your school, and then you can copy it from your personal Gmail into that. So then you can get that product that you have created. Yeah, good question. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys an example one, which is really beautiful, and then I'll go through the process of how you guys build that, okay? So we'll look at the example first, then we'll see how you build it. So this student is a graduate of our program, and she did give me permission to share her site with folks, so she knows that you guys are seeing it. And it's really cool because it's such a great piece of work, so you guys really get to share. So you guys will build, it's all in Google Sites, like I said, so you have a home page. And on the home page, you do a nice professional picture of yourself. So this is from her high school graduation. You can put any type of professional picture in there. And in one of the documents that I show you here in a minute, I give a description of what professional photos are and sort of what they should look like. Then you make a bio of yourself. So I like the end of Alexis's bio. This is just where you get to tell people about yourself, what training you had, what you're doing in the field. So Alexis shares at the end, ever since I was a young child, I've wanted to be a teacher. Now I'm working hard to make my dreams a reality. They say that by doing what you love, you inspire and awaken the hearts of others. And I cannot wait to love and inspire all the children that enter my classroom. So you get to see that personal piece of you guys. So this is an excellent thing to use for employment. So if you guys are working while you're in your 4-year program, or if you go directly to work, this is great to share with folks. And since it's a site, you can just link it in your resume. You can link it in scholarship applications for 4-year programs. So it really shows the breadth of the work that you guys have completed in the program. Then you do one page that is your teaching philosophy. So if you guys haven't done it yet, in 185 Intro to Early Childhood Education, you do a teaching philosophy. So this is one of your assignments that gets plugged in. Then the standards, this is where the big chunk of everything comes in. And the table chart that I just showed you, this is how we sort of build the portfolio. So for each of the 6 standards, you'll have its own page. On the standard page, you just have the overall standard. So standard 1 is promoting child development and learning. You have the description of it. And then you see here, this is key element 1A, knowing and understanding young children's characteristics and needs. So you write the key element, That is what each of those rows in that chart is the key element, and then it lists the possible work artifacts. Ta-da! This is so cool, I love it. For each key element, you put a work artifact. So this is a presentation on a theorist that Alexis did. So this is Bronfenbrenner's. Bronfenbrenner helps us to understand children's needs because we look at all of those different levels of systems that influence children, right? So for each work artifact that you do, you put a description of the artifact, that's the top paragraph, and then the second paragraph is your rationale for why that work artifact fits with the key element. So Alexis describes the PowerPoint, what it is, what I just said. And then in the second paragraph where she gives her rationale, she said, we need to be able to identify children's characteristics and needs by understanding the different levels represented in Bronfenbrenner's theory. We learn about all of the factors that may be affecting our students' development and learning. So we need to be aware of what's going on in our students' lives so we can best serve them and meet the needs. You cannot help your students without understanding the individual child and their needs, right? So Bronfenbrenner's theory helps us to understand those, so that's why it fits. Does that make sense? You guys have questions? Then you just repeat that 21 more times. And that's really what it is. And then, so you can see for her next key element, knowing and understanding what.
It was zoomed on you perfectly when you did that.
That's awesome. Knowing and understanding multiple influences on development and learning, she did a cognitive development observation. So then what's really nice about these is all of the documents and products in it are live. So if I really wanted to read more closely what she wrote, I can just open it and then you can read the whole paper. Or the PowerPoint would open as a Google Slides presentation and you can go through the whole PowerPoint. So it's really interactive for whoever is viewing it. So you do each of the key elements. Then at the end of the overall standard, you write about your competency within that standard. So her competency in promoting child development and learning, first she describes why she is competent in that space, right? So Alexis talks about through her coursework, through her job, she worked at a child care center the entire time she was here at the college. She babysat for a long time. So through all of those experiences and putting those experiences together, she learned about how children develop and how they learn and how to support those practices. She talks about her observations and implementing lessons from her classes here. So we know that through all of those experiences, she really is competent in that area. So you describe that. Which again it's cool because then you guys get that validation of saying, wow, I really have done all of these things. I really am prepared to either go into the field and be a teacher or an assistant teacher or to go on to a 4-year program where I know that I'm really going to serve my students well when I graduate because I already have all this knowledge after 2 years. It's fabulous. Then the second paragraph describes how you're going to continue learning in that area. So we want to know what you are going to be doing to continue that learning. And you have to write a little more in depth than just, I'm going to a 4-year college, so I'll take more classes, right? You need to really specifically think about where you're going to pursue that learning, that type of thing. Then, the final thing for each standard, you put 2 connecting resources. So you can conceptualize connecting resources as if a parent asks you, hey, how can I learn more about children's learning? You might say, oh, here's a great video to watch. I'm going to share it with you. That's what the connecting resources are. So you guys should be collecting those from your classes. You can use things like any links that your teachers provide in classes, videos, you can use articles that you read for classes, book chapters, books that fit. So for each connecting resource, you describe the resource, what it is, and then describe how it connects with that particular standard. So Alexis's first resource is a video. Now you can actually embed the videos into Google Sites too, so it'll just plug the video in here and it will play. But she put the link in, and so if she wanted to share this with a parent or a colleague, they could just click on that link, and then
We respond to the environment.
it takes them to a nice video. So that's what your connecting resources are. You'll need 12 of those in total, 2 for each standard. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Isn't it cool? Yes.
This is just Western.
Say that.
This, you just, everything, you just show us just one step.
You got it. Yep.
You have to like all of standard.
All of them.
All of them.
You do all of them.
Yes. So
Good job.
that's okay. So you think about it, it does. It seems like a lot, right?
Yeah.
But remember that almost all of the assignments, so probably I would say most students use maybe 3 assignments from practicum for this. So you think that you already have all of these assignments completed before you even get to practicum. So the bulk of the work is done. What you are doing is just sort of cataloging it. So that's the first one. And then you can see over here, she's got the rest of them in there. So you do 1 for each standard, but and then when I get to the process of how you build it, that will be helpful too. So it's not, we break it down into real small chunks, so it's not overwhelming. Yeah, here's some.
I like whenever you show different things from the portfolio, and as a second-year student, you can see the videos and remember the assignments that you connected to those
Cool,
videos. Yeah, like you pull up the video, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's from this class, and then I'm like, I wonder if I could use this one for that one, and then I'm not even in
Yes.
practicum yet, but
And you guys
getting the ideas for
can
it.
all this. I'll make sure that this student's portfolio is linked in the folder for today. So if you guys want to go explore it and see what it looks like, you can do that too.
Nice.
Just to really get a thorough idea of what you want to be doing. Cool. That's neat.
We should tell all your first years that when they come in. Be like, save all your resources, no matter if you think
Yeah.
you're going to use them again, you're going to use them again.
Maybe I should videotape you saying that. That's like something more to appear than to me, right?
Be like, save them all, put them all in a Word document.
So Jali, we're kind of getting to the part here that is going to be helpful for you. This, guys, you aren't going to have access to, but I'm just going to show you. So this is our current practicum class in D2L. So this is, I'm just going to walk you through what I walk you through in practicum. So you'll have a section in practicum that is Eportfolio. It's a whole section dedicated to it because it deserves that, right, guys?
It does. The whole time I've been here, I've been nervous for this one assignment.
Don't be. So one of the very first things that I have you guys do in practicum, so you can see that this was due the 3rd week of the semester. So as soon as you guys get into practicum, you hit the ground running with this assignment. You have 3 weeks to do it. So it's your work artifact organization. Should we pause it and do a second video for upload?
Sure.
Okay, great. We're going to take a break for a second, guys, and we'll come back with part 2 for how to build it.